Alright guys, welcome to another episode of 4x4 Camping and Adventures, and in today's episode I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on the Toyo tyres, the 205x75 16 33 inch tyres that I have on the Trident. They are the Toyo Open Country Mud Terrains, and this is my 20,000k update to give you an idea of what is going on with the tyres. Have the tyres had any marring, have they had any chipping, that kind of stuff, and what they're like to essentially live with when you've had 20,000 Ks on the clock, and how they're wearing. Been through mud, been through beach, I've been through gravel, been through actually a lot of beach, and a lot of bitumen, because these are my daily driver, and what they drive like on the wet and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be all part of this video, so let's get into it. Okay, first things first, chipping. Yes, I have actually had some chipping with these tyres, and first things first I want to say is no fault to the tyres. So what actually happened is I was driving, so these have been balanced. This is on my front left, because obviously it's going to my back right. This is on my front left, and what actually happened is my front left actually fell into a rut, and in that rut there was actually a extremely sharp rock. So what I was doing is the front left, being an IFS vehicle, as soon as that lost traction, sent all the power to that wheel, and what it was actually doing is literally just chipping the tyre. So what it was doing is that the block was just getting smashed. So the block was coming into line with this rock, and it would just chip away at it, and the tyre was spinning like pretty quick. So no fault, as I said, to the actual tyre itself, because none of the other tyres have actually chipped, but I have got a little bit of chipping here from the actual from that incident, but beyond that, no massive chipping. So I haven't had lugs and all that kind of stuff, you know, half a lug come off or anything like that. It's all been pretty good. But I have had a little bit of pitting on the tyres, so I'll go through that in a minute. But no major chips, cuts, or anything like that, bar the fact that I decided to go and destroy my tyre in a rut. But that's what forward driving is all about, so I'm not going to excuse that. But yeah, no, they've been pretty good. I haven't noticed any uneven wear or anything like that from the tyres themselves. But they've been pretty good on this side of being pretty damn strong. So, I mean, yeah, this has got a little bit of chipping in it and that kind of stuff, but in saying that, like, I was flogging it. So to get that little bit of damage from me absolutely flogging it is actually pretty damn impressive. So I'm pretty happy with those tyres with that particular scenario. And yeah, as I said, nothing major to write home about with the chipping side of things so far. All right, what I do want to talk to you about is pitting. So what I have found when my tyres were on the rear, so when before I rotated it, I had these rotated about a couple of thousand Ks ago. Well, what I found is on the edge of the actual tread blocks, I got a little bit of pitting, and I was trying to work out what it was. So I did a bit of research and that kind of stuff about what makes tyres pit, and there's a whole bunch of reasons. You know, people say driving on gravel roads, that kind of stuff. You know, the actual rocks getting stuck in between the blocks and that kind of stuff can make pitting, and I couldn't really find a reason for it. And what actually, in the end, I was just like, oh, well, obviously it's just a part of the tyre. But what I actually found happened to the tyres was, because it was on the rear, every time I'd put a little bit of like aggressive driving into the tyres, so I'd come out of a corner and I'd absolutely flog it in a second or something like that. What I was actually doing was when your tyres get put under pressure, they actually start bending. So you're actually bending the tread blocks underneath, so it was actually chipping off the actual corner of the tread block. So what was happening is that the corner of the tread block was getting all that force, and it was actually just chipping away at the tread blocks. So I found my aggressive driving style was actually ruining my tyres. So since then, I've been a little bit less vigorous with my driving style. But it has been interesting to find out that that can actually cause my tyres to pit. And as I said, this one here has actually been on my front right, and you can see, even though the front left, which is now on the rear right, had that big chip in it, this is actually perfectly fine. There's no chipping in there. It's actually a perfectly good tyre, and there's so much more tyre life left into it. But if I go show you the front, which I'll do in a second, you'll see all the pitting from the front, which used to be on the rear, so you get an idea of what I was talking about when it was pitting. But beyond that, there's been no real other damage that I can write home about, as much as I've put them under a bit of torture. So you can see here, it's a little bit hard because I have been on gravel, but you can see here, it's got a bit of pitting on the edge of the tyre blocks. And as I said, I'm going to put that down to my aggressive driving style. And look, it's probably got a little bit of gravel damage, that kind of stuff that has stuff to do with it. But in the whole, yeah, look, it's got a little bit of pitting, but it's definitely nothing to write home about. And look, I've seen worse tyres with less less kilometres. So I'm not overly stressed about it, but yeah, it's just something to think about. They're a mud tyre, and I shouldn't treat them like I have a road tyre. So I think the question I asked myself is, would I buy these tyres again? And I said in the video, yes, 100%. Because these tyres have got me out of some very, very tricky situations, and the grip these things give you off-road is next level. So when I actually set them up right, put the pressures down, that kind of thing, and not just drive around the highway pressures, but when I actually do it properly, they are absolutely insane off-road. And as I said, I've only thrown one off a bead with a very, very, very hard hit, and that was a 15 psi, and it was a pretty strong hit in the front right at the time. So look, these things happen, but look, there's been so many other times I should have thrown these off a bead and I haven't. So look, I'm pretty impressed with the tyre. I'm pretty impressed with the brand. As I said, they've had a reputation for being an extremely good off-road tyre, and there's been a lot of talk about Maxxis and all that kind of thing. And I actually approached Maxxis when I was a much smaller channel than what I was now. When I was just below 1,000 subscribers, and I had the 980s, if you remember the video, the Bravos, and I was super happy with those. And I actually approached Maxxis and said, hey, look, can I try one of your mud train tyres? You know, I'd plug the tyres obviously in the video, but I just get them a good price or whatever I need to do to get them a good, maybe 20% off or whatever, just so I get the tyres a little bit cheaper when I went to the next ones. And they actually said to me that they weren't interested because I was too small of a channel, which is fair enough. And since then, I've approached them again and said, look, I really do like your Maxxis mud terrain tyres, and I'd like to go back and try them again. And yeah, they still didn't want to have 2 bars of me. So I approached Toyo and I said, look, hey guys, I'm really happy with the tyres and that kind of thing. And they've sent me stickers and all that kind of stuff. So they're really, really happy to be supportive of the brand and that kind of thing. I mean, as I said, I paid for these tyres, so I didn't get anything for free from Toyo. But the actual brand's actually really, really supportive of creating content and that kind of stuff, which is what I'm about. As I said, I didn't want anything for free. I just wanted maybe 20% off, 15% off, or whatever the tyres. And as I said, I was happy to sort of plug them in the video, whatever I need to do. But yeah, they just wouldn't come on board. So it sort of left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, especially when I spent about $1,000 getting those all-terrain tyres put on. So yeah, it left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But I'm happy I went with the Toyos. I'm happy I went that decision to go away from Maxxis to Toyo. But yeah, no, stoked with the tyres. And yeah, 100%, I'm definitely going to get them again. I love these tyres. Next set's going to be a little bit different. I might go 35s. I'm not 100% sure yet. So I'm thinking doing lift in the front and rear just to lift it up a little bit more, and possibly putting 35s on it. I'm in 2 minds about that, so don't go jumping up and up and down about CVs and that kind of stuff. I'm in 2 minds about it, but yeah, it'd just be pretty cool to have a try one with 35s. There's only a couple that I know of with IFS in Australia, so yeah, if I can fit 35s under there, yeah, I'll give it a go. But yeah, the other thing with 35s though is I'll probably put 4.6 diff gears in there, just to make it a little bit more drivable day to day, because they would load up the car massively. So you think 35-inch tyre with a rolling resistance, with the standard clutch, and sorry, not standard clutch, but my clutch and the standard gears and that kind of thing, would be very, very probably doughy car. And I mean, with these, the low range first gear does it's not as what's the word for it? It's not as tight as it used to be, so it does sort of get away a little bit more. So I think if I put 35s in there, I'd probably have to change diff ratios. That's the only thing that is sort of keeping me away from it, is I've got to change diff ratios and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in sort of 2 minds about putting 35s on it. But if I can do it, yeah, 100% I'll do it. I do like big tyres, and they look good in the car, so I'm happy with the tyres really so far. As I said, the pitting, whatever. I don't really care about the pitting. That's not a deal breaker for me. The chipping, that was my own fault, so I'm not overly stressed about that. But I'll keep you updated. If it starts getting worse and worse and that kind of stuff, then I'll 100% keep you updated. Beach driving. So let me talk to you a little bit about beach driving with these tyres. So they are good for beach driving, but you have to go very, very low with your pressures, especially if you've got a ute. If you've got a Hilux, D-Max, Trident, Navara, whatever, you have to put these things down to about 10 psi. Now, you think, wow, 10 psi? You have to. They don't bag down until you get down to about 10 psi. The sidewalls on these things are absolutely rock solid. So you need that bagging for your beach driving, and these don't do it unless you go down 10 psi. If you've got a Land Cruiser or something like that, weighs like 4 ton, 100%, they're going to start bagging out at like 15, 18 psi, and you'll be fine on the beach. You just got to worry about your weight. But with a Trident that only weighs about 2 ton, especially since I took all the weight off the back, yeah, it's about 10 psi at the front, 13 psi at the rear, and that thing just glides along the beach, doesn't load up or anything like that. But yeah, when you're running like 18 and sort of 16 psi, they dig in, and yeah, found it the hard way with going up a few sand dunes and that kind of stuff. But you really need to lower your pressures more than you think with these particular mud tyres, or probably any mud tyres in particular. But I found these with my first-hand experience that these definitely need a little bit lower PSI than normal. Mud driving. What can I say about mud driving? They're absolutely epic. I have not had a situation where I've got bogged in the mud too badly without doing anything stupid. But yeah, they definitely have grip, and you can just feel them grabbing in. When you get those lugs clean, they can just feel them grabbing in, and yeah, you start getting traction, that kind of stuff. But gravel, this is what I want to talk about. Gravel with mud tyres is a very weird thing. So we had all trains on there, they were sort of grippy and that kind of thing. I feel like gravel with mud terrain tyres, they are very, very loose, but they do grip and that kind of thing. But I do feel like the back end will just, I mean, it's probably to do with more power and that kind of stuff as well, but the back end does snap into wheel spin a lot easier. And it's got a little bit more understeer than when I had the all trains on there. But as I said, the all trains were a closer pattern, so I feel like because these are a more open pattern, they're more, as I said, they're more designed for off-road driving, that kind of stuff. But with gravel, I just got to be a little bit more careful when I'm driving on gravel roads. But you just got to be careful with a little bit of understeer and that kind of stuff. But beyond that, they're pretty good on gravel. And as I said, if you drive to the road and all that kind of stuff, you should be fine. The other probably big thing is rocks. Now, in my experience of rocks with these tyres, this is no rock crawler, but I've had a little bit of experience with rocks themselves. And look, yeah, they do pretty well on rocks. You got to bag them out, as I said. I'm not overly stressed about rocks because I don't do it too much. But when I did do rocks, I did get the chipping and that kind of stuff. But that was probably my own fault because I haven't got the greatest experience driving rocks. So it's probably just a little bit of my bad experience, you know, and all the rest of it. But yeah, no, they seem to be pretty good on rocks. I get plenty of grip, and I haven't had any punctures. And I've driven over some pretty crazy tracks. It's some pretty crazy tracks with stumps and that kind of stuff, and I haven't had a single puncture. As I said, the sidewalls on these things are absolutely fantastic. But yeah, 20,000 Ks in, and still super stoked with them. And look, I still rate them really, really highly. Way better than my old tyres, but as I said, they're a mud tyre versus all terrain. And yeah, I'm going to 100% get them again. I will get this tyre again as my next set. Unless something really, really, like the RTs came out, the Toyo RTs came out, so I'm like, whoa, maybe, because I do like the sort of mix between an all-terrain and a mud-terrain, but I think I still might stick with the muddies, even though they've got the RTs, I might stick with the muddies. On the road, they are not overly loud. They're a mud tyre, so they're gonna whir and all that kind of stuff, but they're not overly loud. They're still quieter than my Maxxis tyres, so I'm not overly stressed about that. But they're a mud tyre. Don't think you're going to go down the road and not hear them. You'll hear them. Like, they are a mud tyre. They will make noise on the road and that kind of stuff. So just be prepared for that. But that's probably all I can tell you. When it hits 40,000 Ks, I might give you another update. But that is really about it. Really stoked with the tyres. Still really happy, and no major dramas to report, as I said, except for the chipping. But that is my own fault. But that has been another episode of 4x4 Camping and Adventures. Hope you like this video. Hope you like this content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the video. And you will see much, much more of this kind of cool content coming out in the future. And if I don't see you in the next ones, I might see you out in the traction trails. If I don't see you out in the traction trails, I shall see you later. Bye!